correct ordinance. I've never done this before, streaming kind of live from my cell phone. So I'm hoping you can hear me, and I'm hoping I can get the live chat up and rolling here. Give me a sec here to figure this all out. All right. I can't see the live chat to know if you can hear me or not, but you might as well go ahead and post something and see if I can see it. Let's see. I can't see the chat. Not good. Just bear with me for a bit, guys. There's 6 of you in here. There you go. Now I can see it. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me. Squeaky, let me know if you can hear me. Type it in the chat. That would be great. All right, so we're good. Your picture is okay, all of that. All right, just never done it before, and I didn't want to go. So the reason for this tonight is I didn't want to go a week and leave you guys out, not have your little entertainment fix for the evening, so to speak. And frankly, I enjoy it too. It's not 100% generosity. There's some self-serving there, you know. I enjoy this. So what we're doing is I had a little 4th of July adventure, and took the family out on the lake and all, and we got a cool new boat, and we were having fun. And I obviously had to go to work this morning, but the boat had stopped running well, and it was an expensive boat, and I thought, and obviously the dealers are closed a holiday weekend, so I couldn't get a hold of anybody, and I was kind of upset about it and yelling and screaming. Figured I'd call him today, so I went to work, called him, and bought it pre-owned. So there really wasn't any warranty on it, although he did mention, hey, if you go out and the first day it blows up or something, we'll take care of you, you know. But being in the business, I know how that goes too. So we had taken it out and took the kids' tube in, tubed a little, went around the lake a couple times, and it was fine. Brought a few other family members down to take them out, and I hammer it to do a whole shot, and nothing. It falls on its face, and it's stuttering and shaking, and with enough goofing around, it finally gets up on plane and goes. But I figured maybe plug, something simple. It wasn't fuel, I don't think. I've gotten fuel at the same place for the boats for 30 years. Anyhow, I figured I'd better get a hold of the dealer first thing in the morning, get this thing in and taken care of before they say, hey, it's been too late. Because it's been a couple weeks already, and just hadn't had the opportunity to take it out. So I called him, and he says, yeah, bring it right over. I said, well, I'm downstate. I can't really do it, but I can do it tomorrow. So I'm on my way back home up north, and we got about 3 hours left of our ride. And hey, why not spend it with you guys? It's raining. I hope the internet stays good. I'm not going to be able to read comments as well because, yeah, I'm driving. But, and I can't really figure out a way to go back in the comments, it looks like. I don't know. But we normally don't go to them till a little later, so we'll get into what we're going to get into here, and then maybe later I'll take a little break here driving, and we'll go over the comments. But I hope everybody that's normally here is here. I saw Squeaky. I'm sure Joe's here. I hope Tommy's in here. Save the Bees. Haven't seen Dixie in a while. Where have they been? But I'm sure everybody's in here. Hope you guys liked the video this week we put out on the H&K, our MP5. Some people give me grief for saying MP5, and they say, oh, it's not an MP5. It's a, sorry, I'm going to turn this fan down on the air, so hopefully it's not too loud. I hope you're not getting too much background noise because of the rain and the wind, but my turn signal left on too long. People give me grief about the calling it an MP5. What's the official name? I guess SP5, right? I don't know. To me, it's an MP5. Sure, it doesn't have a giggle switch, but other than that, it's pretty much all there, right? Oh yeah, we've got our peach Red Bull going on here today. Yeah, but for the road. Sorry guys, looks like I'm hitting like a bad area where it's going in and out, but we'll keep trying. If it gets really annoying, I guess just drop out, whatever. I just figured I'd try it, so we'll keep going. But yeah, maybe we can bring you a video doing a little walleye or muskie fishing. Before I get into the gun stuff, I figured, so I did a little bit of fishing over the weekend, and I used to fish a lot. Before I was married, I fell into a situation where a couple of the resorts on the lake would have newbies come up and they'd want somebody to show them spots on the lake. I essentially guide them, except for free. And I'd take them out in the boat and they'd break my equipment and eat my food and use my bait, and it got annoying. So I thought, well, I'll start charging them. So I did, and for a little while before I was married, I guided up there. I'm a walleye fisherman first and foremost, but I enjoy muskie too, and it's a Class A muskie and walleye lake. I've had fish on over 50 inches multiple times. Caught one, a lot of in the 48s, 47-inch range on the muskies. Great walleye lake. There have been a couple summers where you could hit the lake at, I don't know, 6 o'clock in the evening, fish till dark, and with you and a buddy in the boat, boat 100 walleyes in a night, in a couple hours, no problem. I remember us joking, a fisherman's worst nightmare, we're running out of bait, There'd be times where we'd have 4 fish on the line at one time, We'd fish a slip bobber rig, and then we'd work a jig, and you'd get one on the jig and the bobber would go down, his would go down, and he's got one. We got 4 fish coming in the boat, and crazy. I mean, it's definitely cyclical. You get some years where it's just great, and the numbers are good, and the size is good. And other years you may have less fish, but bigger fish, and other years you may have, just less fish, period. It just depends, but it's a healthy lake. There's really no public access, only people that live on it. No boat landing. DNR tried to put one in a couple years ago. We fought them and stopped them. They wanted to put it in a certain area. They own a little land that borders the lake. And they said, oh, it's the perfect spot. Yeah, we can put it in. It won't bother anybody. No noise, no trash, no this, no that. Except the problem was that the spot the DNR picked was the primary spawning grounds for the walleyes on our lake. It was where this big rock slide comes off this shoreline there, and that's where the walleyes spawn every spring. So according to the DNR, it wouldn't affect anything. Everything would be just fine. Really, did you consider that you were going to put it in right where they breed? They would have destroyed the lake, and they had to have known that. I can't believe they're that stupid. They had to have known it, and just were avoiding it and thought we wouldn't say anything. I don't know. We got a good lake association. We do clarity testing. We make sure any of the houses that have septics on the lake, we do dye packs, flush them, make sure they're not going in the lake, all that. We pay for this out of the dues, and we also do shocking to check the health of the fish and the numbers and all. And that's an interesting thing, boy, when you shock it and you see some 58-inch muskie come floating up, or 9-pound walleye. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. Really good, really good smallmouth fishing too, and crappie fishing. I caught a huge dinner plate sized crappie off the pier the other night. So it's been good. It's a good time, and maybe we'll take you out and show you a little bit on the boat and some fishing, not break it up a little bit. And I keep meaning to put the video together from when I went to Mexico, Cabo San Lucas. We caught a marlin about 10 feet long, several hundred pounds. I have the exact numbers. I got the whole fight on video, so we'll try and do that. Somebody says, "What's up, Rock?" Who is it? I can't read it. I'm driving, sorry. But hey, whoever it was. We'll get to the comments. I'll pull over in a bit, and I'll figure out how to pull them up here and check them. So yeah, we will bring in a little fishing. Why not? And we'll go to the range while we're here too, or maybe we'll just set up out back on our property and do a little shooting. I shoot back there a bit. But summertime, when a lot of the people that don't live up here permanently are up, I try to keep it to a minimum. You don't want to ruin their vacations and whatnot with a bunch of noise. But there's always shooting going on. Got a nice buck coming on the property. I saw him Sunday morning in velvet. Big. You got to understand, down south, Illinois, southern Wisconsin, we have big deer. Where I'm from, down in Illinois, huge deer from north central Illinois all the way west to the Mississippi. Some of the biggest deer, Pope and Young, Boone and Crockett, all that monster deer, right? Big bodied deer, heavy antlered deer. And you get up north, this far north, we're almost at the UP, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, not too far from Lake Superior, Copper Harbor, all that. Not too far from the Canadian border. It's cold. Winters are tough on animals up here. They're tough on people, tough on machines, tough on cars, tough on everything. And the deer just don't get that big. What's it say? I wish I could read these comments. I'm sorry. The winters are tough on these deer. They don't get that big. They're not eating grain like down south. They're eating bark and nuts and whatever, Their antlers don't necessarily get that big. They're small-bodied. They don't put on the mass that they do down south. So when you see a big deer, it's a big... I don't know why I do these things to myself. Decide to do a stream like this when I know it's going to be nothing but trauma, and driving in a literal blinding downpour. I can't see a damn thing, just taillights. But and we're doing 80. What the hell? No, kidding. Anyhow, my main topic of the video today is going to be on these shipping companies and what UPS and a few of the other ones are doing. If you guys haven't heard, UPS is threatening to, they're not going to ship any more unserialized receivers, gun parts that can be made into guns, and nothing's all that clear. It's not clear if, you can ship like an AR-15 grip, but you can't ship an AR-15 grip if all the other parts to make a firearm are in the box. It's just not clear if it's, well, you could ship individual parts. You could, like, I don't know, buy a scope from Primary Arms and we'll ship that, but we won't ship enough parts to build an AR, that kind of thing. And what the problem is, what they're threatening is they are going to seize and destroy these packages. They're going to seize and destroy property that does not belong to them. It belongs to you or the shipper. And they have contracted to ship your product, your merchandise, your valuables. And they're saying right now that if it's in the system and they get it, they're going to grab it and destroy it. So if you ordered up an 80% receiver or a polymer 80 kit or something, and it's on the way and they find it, they're going to seize it, destroy it. You won't even know. Now, does that hold true for, just firearm parts? So what if you order a bolt carrier? They're going to seize it and destroy it? When you sign that little shipping slip, or the company you're buying it from does, that's a contract between them and the shipper that they will deliver your product for you. Somebody's going to have to sue over this, and everybody else there's a lot of other shippers signing on. There's, you got your legacy memo disclose their friends, so he didn't. But basically the memo said, hey, yeah, here's what they're doing. Here's what UPS has decided to do. And obviously we don't want any hassles, and it's a bunch of legalese, mumbo jumbo. So July 1st is to ship zero. They're not going to ship any of it, anything relating to firearms equipment. They're canceling accounts, UPS is. They canceled the account of Ghost Firearms out of Florida. Canceled it, done. Guys, to me, this is scarier than some of the gun control that goes through legislation, because these are individual private companies making these decisions for you. And whether they're making that decision because they don't want to upset the apple cart in regards to maybe other things or benefits they get from the government due to interstate transportation, highway, parking laws, whatever. Maybe they get some money from the government. I'm sure there's money out there they get from the government, right? Or government contracts. Who knows? But these companies don't want to upset that, I'm sure. Or they simply don't want the government crawling up their hind end with a microscope. So they figure, well, even if they're, let's say they're conservative by nature, the leadership of that company or upper management, what if sorry guys, I was trying to read something. What if they're conservative by nature, but yet they just decide that, hey, it's too much hassle, so we're not going to do it? Where does that leave everybody? Essentially, if you can't ship it, if you can't get it to market, if you can't get it to the end user, it's a form of gun control, right? I was so upset when I heard this, and I've got other reasons to be upset with UPS. For a long time when I lived down south, I lived right next to one of the largest UPS hubs in the country, or maybe the largest, actually. They controlled the whole airport there, and my son actually worked there. It's one of his first jobs, and out of college they were going to hire him, move him up. They depended a lot on this temporary labor, and my son had this pie-in-the-sky idea of how corporations work and how they're such benefactors and all of this, and he actually got hurt, not on the job. He got hurt outside of work, wasn't asking for special treatment, wasn't Sorry, I had to reconnect again. He said, all I'm asking for is for 10 days, 2 weeks or so, that you just switch me to a different station where I'm not using that side or that knee to push off from when loading these packages or whatever. He said, just put me over at that station there and I'll be fine. I'm happy to do it. Matter of fact, can you get me some overtime? They went after him like you wouldn't believe, screaming, yelling at him, talking about, I think they thought he was going to do some kind of workman's comp, and he was telling them, no, I'm not, but something with reporting and this and that. They were all over him and threatening to make it bad for him and that they'd fire him and all kinds of other stuff. And he came home in tears, literally in tears, because he liked the company. He was proud to work for that company. He was a kid. He didn't quite get the real world yet, you know. And he thought, man, if I could move up here, move up positions and do well, I could work here the rest of my life. Nice pension, it's close to home. I can live in the town I want to live in and everything. And these guys just shattered it for him. And he was so blown away between union representatives and all this craziness. It really, I think it permanently scarred or changed the way he looked at things, you know. And it was a shame, because to have an outlook like that, have somebody that wants to work, is proud to work for a company, and then it's more involved than that, guys. I'm not getting it all across to you, but it was just sad. So when you see your child upset like that or hurt by some idiot because he just didn't shut his mouth for 2 seconds and listen, you know, yeah, I got an issue with that. It's you raise your kids to do the right thing, to work hard for what they have, and give everything of themselves in return for that paycheck and that loyalty and all of that. And then to see all of that just get dashed on the rocks of reality like it did, it pisses me off. But I think, guys, I really think this is a terrible, terrible form of gun control. It really is. First of all, it's not law about shipping these firearms and parts and all of that. It's not law. They're taking it upon themselves to do that. To me, I think I want to organize some type of protest. I will drive down there and spend a week and picket out in front of the place and let them know that us as citizens aren't going to stand for it. I think it'd be something that anybody in almost any town could do within a short ride. You could be at a UPS store, a UPS hub, UPS drop-off place, whatever, and let them know that, hey, it's not, for them to impose their will on us, backdoor gun control, whatever you want to call it, is not right, and that we're not going to stand for it, and to boycott everything and every product they do. Tomorrow morning, my company no longer uses UPS. I promise you that. That is not happening, ever, ever. And any of our vendors we use that ship through UPS, I'm going to ask them to change it. If I can, I'll get it somewhere else, whatever. If they're shipping UPS, I'm not using them. So it'll affect those vendors too. Kind of a guy of principle, and I stand behind stuff like that. It doesn't bother me if it costs a little more, you make a little less, whatever. Yeah, no, not going to do it. I think this is one of the scariest propositions I've ever heard in the gun control arena. It's terrible. I'm not going to go through all the laws on shipping and private shipping and FFL shipping and all of that type of stuff. Most of you probably know all of that already, or a lot of it. And And if you don't, there's plenty of places to find out about it. But in the grand scheme of things, there's not that many choices to ship firearms. You've got UPS, FedEx, and the United States Postal Service. So if UPS is out of the game, and they say they're 100% out of the game, that leaves FedEx, right? FedEx, I have not heard directly what they're going to do yet. It may be out there. I was looking, and I didn't have time to do as much research as I wanted, but I got a feeling a lot of them will follow suit. It really only leaves, and by the way, FedEx, as a private person, you can't ship through FedEx. It's got to, let me think. I think it's got to go. You can use it to ship to an FFL, but they will not accept. I don't think they'll accept a firearm from a private person. I can't remember the last time I used them. Ammo, guys, is separate from all of this, by the way. They've held off on the ammo. They'll ship the ammo, from what I've heard on all of them. But it basically leaves the post office as the only one in the game. And that's fine. I mean, their priority mail really works well. I've had good luck with it as far as shipping parts and purchasing parts from companies like Primary Arms, etc. I've heard horror stories where, although you have a tracking number, it's lost and this and that. I did have one package that progressed through the system, checking it. It looked like it was going to be to me the next day, and then all of a sudden it was on a truck headed for like Arkansas or something. Went all the way to Arkansas and then back to me and was delayed a few days. But it was in the system. I could watch it, except the final end of it, all of a sudden there's no update until the end. I've had that happen too. But the vast majority with U.S. Postal Service has been exceptional. Really has. Matter of fact, the brace for the MP5, I ordered that thing at like 3 a.m. and it was there to me in, let's see, how hours was that? About 30 hours. 30 days. I mean, it was lightning. It was unbelievable. And yeah, I've got nothing bad. It kind of gives them a monopoly on it almost. Other big shippers that are included in those top 10, and I would assume most of these are, stuff coming from manufacturers to dealers or manufacturers to wholesalers, whatever. Companies like Estes Trucking. Have you seen Estes? I think AB Transport. A lot of the big companies, you see the trucks all the time. The 10 largest, so think about who that is out there. That's terrible. Is it gonna create shortages in the market? Sure. Will it cause prices to go up? I'm sure it will. Just when firearm pricing has seemed to be kind of okay, well, what's that gonna do now? Now we've got another thing. Guys, when you win on one front, like we did with the Supreme Court in those cases, we haven't talked to all that. Are both, and what Judge Clarence Thomas did, the way he laid it out, and the words he chose and used, he covered just about everything you can cover. It was just a shining example, and probably, if not the best, the second best win we've ever had. And then the win on Chevron deference and everything else. I mean, we're set. We are set. Yes. Will they choose not to follow this ruling? Absolutely. Will we have to sue them over it? Absolutely. Will they lay down in a couple cases? Maybe. It's not over. You got to go through the steps, and it could be delayed years. But it's in our direction, and it's on the books. So the minute you solve one problem, here they come at you with another. And it all started, the reason this all started, there was a group of senators and the usual suspects, Feinstein, a couple other of the usuals that they get together, wrote a letter to all these shipping companies saying they wanted information on how they shipped firearms, what the security procedures were, because they're afraid that due to no or lax security, that large batches of firearms were being stolen and contributing to the gun problem throughout the country. Well, those regulations that are put in place for these shippers were written by them. Written by them. So these lax policies, you wrote them, Miss Feinstein, you ancient crypt-keeping bitch. Jesus, I can't stand that. Same hairstyle since 19-2. Except just more wrinkles pasted on there. It's unbelievable. Yeah, they wrote the letter, stirred the pot on it, scared them all, and then they all said, well, if they're looking into this, we're out. We're out. They didn't even fight it. These companies have no backbone. The CEOs, CFOs, COOs, they have no backbone and they don't care. It's all about profits. Just once, I'd like to see a company stand up and face these people and hold their feet to the fire. But unfortunately, rarely do you see that. Anyhow, if you have not watched anything on the shipping, I suggest you do. It's scary. It's infuriating. I think they like that it infuriates us. That they can just trample it like that. And these are essentially individual companies, individual people choosing to push their will on you, all of you. So I'm sure you guys are commenting in the comments. I don't know what you think of that, but it is not a good thing. And I don't know how you solve it right now other than to put pressure on these companies, on the CEOs. The average person, guys, the average person out there that ships something to their kids at school or something through UPS, they're not even going to know about this. And they're not going to care, right? They're not going to bother, if they did happen to see an article or a video on it, to watch it. So it starts happening. They stop shipping and nobody stands up, nobody says nothing. And there it is. It's in place, right? Gun control. Well, we need to make it known. We need everybody to know what they're doing. What if UPS suddenly decided that we are no longer going to ship blueberry jam from Costa Rica anywhere in the world? And your Grammy, your little grandma, she likes blueberry jam, and it's the only thing she eats for breakfast every day. And because some guy doesn't like it, he decided not to ship it. He made the decision that your grandmother can't be happy. Let alone take away her freedoms like they're doing to us. But it'd be infuriating, right? Well, you can sit back and take it and let it happen, or you can let it be known what's going on. You can share articles, videos, posts on whatever social media you have, Instagram, Facebook, all of them. I would say organize something. There's nothing better than a group of 50 people standing at the entrance to an airport or UPS with signs telling them what a scumbag company they are for trampling your constitutional rights. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it together and we're going to do it. And we're going to live stream from there too. It'll be over the next couple weeks. And I don't know how long we can keep it up, but I will do my damnedest. Anything helps. Whether it's an hour, 12 hours, a week, whatever. Anything you can do. Figure it out. Figure out a point. Lots of traffic running by that can read the signs. People care. I truly believe, guys, that people in this country, we've been at war for what, 20 years, 20 plus years? There are more veterans and combat veterans in the general population than there ever have been at any time in this country's history. And for the most part, they care. They fought for this country. They love it. They don't want to see anything change. Sometimes it may seem that we're in the minority, but we're not. The average person, the average U.S. citizen, loves this country for a reason. They like the opportunity. They appreciate it. And they care what happens to it. I think the media sometimes spins things so out of control and so big, and that you swear you're losing everything, and nobody cares what happens. Well, I'm here to tell you, I think it's the opposite. I think there's a lot more people that care. They just need to be informed, right? They need to be informed, and they need to be told the truth by somebody other than our lying media. But make it known. Figure it out. Do a little research. Get a few buddies together. Go down and put a little heat on UPS. Nobody liked it. Nobody. Terrible thing. Just like the unions do with the big rat, right? And you may say, big deal, nobody cares. They do. It brings attention, and especially if people aren't informed, they don't know, what it is the union's doing out there. I'm assuming most of them are going to, assume that, hey, that business must have really done something wrong to make them upset. Look at them. They're out there with all these guys and these signs. Why not? Why not do it? I'm going to. See what you can do. You start small and it grows, and it'd be really cool to see it happen at their hubs all over the country in different areas, sorting facilities, driver facilities, whatever the heck it may be. I just think that's the way you get back at these companies. And call them. Call them. You call their senators, right? And you think that doesn't do anything? Well, it did. It definitely helped, all the calling and letters and emails we sent. Now think about a private company or a publicly held company. They have resources like the automated emails and all that other stuff to handle all those calls and emails and everything. And you're some CEO's poor secretary and inbox, they may get the idea real quick. I think that'd be a good thing. Let them know how you feel. The same game plan. You just get it done. Get it done. Very, very scary stuff. Hope you guys liked that MP5 video. It was certainly fun to do the video. I love shooting pistol caliber carbines or braced pistols in 9. It's just so much fun. The only problem with it is you burn through so much ammo. Oh my God, it's crazy. Because it's just so much fun. The gun just sits on target and you just slam away, bam, 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 bam. The gun never moves. And it's cool. It's fun to run drills, all of that. And you can burn a case of ammo like nothing. I think of all the time it took me to reload it all. And we shot up, I think we put 800 rounds through them that day. That MP5, I ran the German mags and the Korean mags. The Korean mags, I don't know why I don't like them. I get why people don't like them for the AK. Because the paint's just a little too shiny compared to most other steel mags from most COMBLOC countries and all. they just look, they have some air of cheapness to them. I can't really tell you how well they run in an AK. I haven't really used KCI mags all that much, but I'll tell you what, in that thing, it's been nothing short of perfect. They've run great. I think the problem comes in not so much with the mags, but maybe on some of the clones. You know, I don't know, maybe a Sentry gun or a Zenith gun or whatever. And I'm not bashing on those guns. I'm just saying that the mags are made for the original, and then the clones can be off a hair, and the mags don't work, and we blame the mags. So, I don't know. Just one of them things, but it ran great. What I was surprised at, because we started shooting the MP5, it was obviously a video on that, and the thought process was that we would compare it to our other braced pistols in the same video down the line. So we shot both Scorpions and the Ruger, and the biggest thing was when I switched from the MP5 to the Scorpion, I noticed right away that the Scorpion had a little more punch to it. Just a little punchier on the recoil side. Not complaining at all, just a hair punchier. And then when I switched from the Scorpion back to the MP5, after shooting lots of mags through the Scorpion, switching back to the MP5 that's when I really noticed then just how much smoother that MP5 was and how much less recoil it had. That was a big difference. And while it's not bad, it's just that much better on the MP5. I did notice also the weight. The Scorpions being quite a bit lighter, which was a plus for them. But I think that's what contributed to the recoil and whatnot. They all ran really well. That Ruger, we have not had a ton of range time with it. Done a quick couple videos here, and when it was newer, the ejection seemed, I won't say, maybe a bit erratic, depending how fast you were squeezing. And I thought it lacked a little oomph getting the shells out. But the more we've shot it, the better that thing's ejecting. And that's such a fun little gun too. And it's got some heft to it. If you guys haven't held one, it's something you have to, go to a shop and check out, or sorry guys, I got traffic here. Go to a shop and check out, or maybe just ask to hold one or whatever. But it's really a beefy gun. If you just look at it in the magazines, this and that, it looks like it'd be mostly polymer and a lot lighter than it is, but it's all metal almost. And super sturdy, super smooth, well put together, all of that good stuff. Really the only drawback I see is that you only have one way essentially to charge that gun, and that's by grabbing the bolt handle, pulling back on it, and then letting it go. Whereas on the Scorpions, for instance, oh damn it, did I go the wrong way? I did. I'm talking to you guys and I missed my exit. No big deal, we'll turn around up here and we can stop and go through the comments too. So, but on the Scorpion, you can either do the HK slap to charge it. You can pull back just like on the Ruger Charger and let it fly, or you can hit the bolt release. And on the on the MP5, you can HK slap it. You can several ways of doing it, right? So it just seems a little awkward to just have the one mechanism. I don't know, just me. But other than that, that's a great gun. As far as the takedown feature, I originally thought that, well, really makes it a little bit smaller. I was looking at it more from like being able to change out barrel length if you wanted. But it's pretty handy all the way around. If you break that package down and you have the right bag and everything, man, oh man, that thing is really handy. And it's grown on me, quality-wise. Trigger's not too bad. But all that being said, I now know why the MP5 is the king of all of them, because it's just so smooth. It ran any ammo I put through it. I mean, I put stuff that I had purposefully loaded super long for a certain gun. Stuff that I had, just crappy stuff. And I call them garbage mags. I take all this 9 I got laying around of all different stuff, put them in one mag, and it just runs it. And I don't know. The thing's just great. And it's so smooth. When you're shooting, you don't notice it when you jump from the MP5 to the other guns right away. But when you've been shooting the other ones for a little bit and then jump back to that gun, to the MP5, is when you really notice it. It's like, wow, that is a huge difference. And it was kind of cool to see that. Well, we got off the highway here, and we're gonna, I hope I can get back on going the other way. Yeah, looks like I can. Yeah. The one turn I gotta make on the whole damn trip, and I missed it. Oh well. It happens, right guys? I'm just trying to outrun a semi that's crawling up the back of me here. Alrighty. Let me find the ramp, and then but I'm gonna have to turn around at this station, and then we can check the chat and see how you guys are all doing. So what do you think? I hope the signal's coming in good, and I hope this thing's going out well without too much trauma, and that you can hear okay. Picture doesn't look that great because no light in the truck, but plus we got our windows blacked out on this thing, so I don't get much outside light in it. How'd you like that one? The Rock Ram, huh? Not bad for coming up with it quickly. I thought it was amusing. All right, you guys are gonna have to just bear with me for a minute. Have a little fun in the chat there while I am getting back on course here with a few course corrections. We are, just so you guys know, we're traveling in Wisconsin. We're headed up pretty much the middle of the state, and headed to the Great White North. Oh, about a 4.5 hour trip north, and pretty country. Depending where you're from, you may or may not hear people say, "Where are you going for the weekend?" And like, if you're from Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, you hear people refer to it as up north, and that just means headed to the North Woods. Well, in Wisconsin, up north to most people, I think, means north of Wausau, Wisconsin. If you live north of Wausau, you're in the North Woods. And it was always considered Wausau, really, anything north of there. Well, over the years, things have kind of changed. populations have increased, and areas have, gotten essentially more people living there, And I don't know that I consider Wausau anymore the breaking point. It used to be once you got north of Wausau, the lanes went down to, 2-lane roads, and it was all pine trees and forest and lakes for as far as you could drive or see. And now you've got other towns popping up, and even most of the towns up there are resort towns, that kind of thing. And now those have become so populated, and all the trappings of the city, like big Walmarts and all of that stuff, that you almost got to go further out, further north, that kind of thing. And I thought it would never happen in our little town. We were a tourist town, known forever for the fishing and hunting, snowmobiling. That's what you went to our town for. If you worked in town, the locals, there wasn't much to do if you didn't work in logging or something like that. I was in the car business here, but now they don't rely on the resorts anymore. People have summer homes. Used to be you went to resorts. Well, all the resorts have closed down. They don't have enough business to keep them going because everyone's bought homes or built homes on these lakes and whatnot. So during tourist season, it's just like any other place, and kind of sucks. So I now consider like north of, let's say Rhinelander, somewhere in there. But we got to go further north because it's not what it used to be. We got a big Walmart and all the other crap, and well, it's convenient, I guess. It's not what I signed up for. So anyhow, let's see if I can get to the chat in here. Give me a minute. Find a couple other things here. There we go. And I can actually talk to you guys for a minute. Let's see. Alan Bishop. 10 Belgian FAL mags are in the mail. Still sealed in box. Did you get those mags? You said last week you had gotten some. I need some. I never bought any for that gun. Be a good thing to have. Sorry if you're seeing my thumb press. Trying to get in the chat here. Hide all chat messages. Super chat. By the way, guys, you guys can send super chats anywhere from a penny to $1 million. You can send. It benefits the channel. It goes right to the channel for all the things we do, whether that's guns, bullets, whatever. And anything you can do certainly helps. I don't pound it. If you can do it, great. If you can't, fine. Keep watching. You guys all contribute in one way or another. So, but just know that we appreciate it. Live chat. Chat viewing options. Live chat. Okay. Why can't I see it? It is not showing it to me. Oh, wrong camera. All I want to do is see the chat. When I'm watching one on my phone, I can see the whole stream next to it, but here I can't. Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. Why do I want to do that? I think it's because of how we got it rotated, actually. This sucks. So I can only see your chats, guys, when you post a comment. So we'll sit here for a while. If you guys want to check in with a chat, I'm not driving, so I'm able to read them. If you got any questions or anything you want to talk about, what we have just talked about for the last hour or so, feel free to jump in. How many minutes we've been going here? Almost an hour. So yeah, jump in there and let me see these chats, because that's half the fun for me too. Mute microphone, share, save, highlight. What? I don't know. I guess I can't see it. But hopefully you guys will jump in here and say something. I'm not seeing any comments right now. They flash up here randomly. Anything? Nobody's got nothing to say? Oh, there we go. Joe, I just glad I got my second AR done before I knew the mail would be under attack. Yeah. That's something, guys. Think about it. What if you don't have that many FFLs in your area? What if you have to rely on mail order? Alan, can't wait to pick up that CZ82 and 32. That's going to be an interesting gun. Something a little different, huh? Had one years ago, regretted selling it. In 32 ACP? Is it ACP? I think it is. Just got in late. Where's the commie couch today? We are in the Rock Ram. We are on a road trip. So I figured we'd bring you one. I've been driving. I pulled over now so I could read the chat, because the way I set it up in my phone here, like an idiot, I can't switch the orientation of the phone to see the chat, unfortunately. I wonder if I can, hold on. No, damn it. Yeah, it's not letting me see them. I see them when you first type them, and then after that I can't go back and go through them. So I usually like to say who's in the chat, but I can't see them unless you are commenting right now. Let's see. Squeaky's here. Been stocking up on things. Got to do what you can to stay ahead. Tommy Guns is here. Rock, got an LWRC SMG 45 on the way. Had to because of 4th of July. Of course. Absolutely. There's not many calibers more all-American than that. Joe Morgan, forgot I got a text from Papa. True American Loretta. Bingo, Squeaky. Yep. All right, so cool. I'm seeing them. So as long as you guys are posting, I can see them now. Orion's here. Hold my Red Bull. I'm going to try something. Yeah, exactly. Oh, the reloading topic. Yeah. Okay, we'll get into that. That'll be the next hour here. The next, as soon as I'm done going through this chat and taking my little cigarette break here, we will get into reloading. Getting parts for now. PTR picked up. Cool. PTRs are nice guns. What's up, Loretta? How are you? Hope all is well. So good to see all you guys. We got 17 in here and 13 likes, so we got a couple likes to go. UPS is still shipping according to the website. I heard that it was going into effect on the 1st originally, and that anything, and multiple channels have reported that anything in the system right now is subject to seizure. So who knows? We got a super chat from Hattori Hanzo. He personally supports this channel. 762, gotta love that amount. Thank you so much. I couldn't see what you said. Type it again. I'm sorry, it fades away. And if I don't read it quick, like Joe's, Joe's went away and I couldn't see it. But thank you, Hattori, I appreciate it. That's awesome. That's a cool amount to do for a super chat, isn't it? $7.62. Get it? 762. I know you guys get it. But thank you. It's been good. So yeah, we recently picked up Remington 700mm mag, topped off with a Lapua 3x9. Wasn't looking. 500 bucks. I had to read fast. It fades out on me. It sucks. Next time I do this, I gotta figure out how I can see the chat full time. Because that blows. But if you got it for 500, that's a hell of a deal, man. For any 700. Wow. Christ, the scope on the thing is probably near that, right? Nice, nice, nice. So yeah, we thought I had to, normally I'd be down south working for the week and then go home, but I had to run back to take care of one of the toys. Rockford, no one has given a source or link where UPS says anything about it officially. Really? I mean, it's so many channels and reputable channels. I'm shocked. Well, where'd it come from then? They had to say it somewhere. I saw the one internal memo for the other shipping company, but that was a trucking company essentially that would like deliver a factory pallet of rifles, let's say, to a wholesaler or to FFL or something like that. Yep, we got coffee and Red Bull. We're doing good. It's gonna be a heck of a trip. Got about 2.5 hours left, maybe. I don't know. Somewhere in there. Last week, a couple people, I asked whether you guys liked the reloading videos or not, and the live chat, live streams about it. UPS can do whatever they want. They're just throwing business away. I get it, but the scary thing about it is, and yeah, I'm sure there'll be companies or maybe a new company step in to fill the void. Boy, that's a money-making opportunity for something, right? For somebody. What if you had the means right now to start a company like that and specialize in nothing? I don't know if you could make a company work on just the firearms industry, but if you could, or you could ship whatever, but make that a priority, or something you specialize in. Maybe completely, change the whole system up, whereby higher security, all of that, but faster. You get them there even faster. If somebody had a lot of startup capital, United Pot Smugglers, yes, they would find a way, I promise you. UPS shut down a few accounts for companies. New York City claimed was shipping ghost guns, 80% complete kits. Yeah, that's right. That's how it started. They shut down ghost firearms account. That's how it started. So, that being said, maybe they haven't put out there that that's going to be the overall policy, but multiple sites, videos, articles that I read had it down as that. Guns God Family, I love that. With 30 followers, posted a video yesterday. Damn, they go away too quick. I can't read them. Lots of money to be made in shipping with Midway and PSA alone. Yeah, think about it. Midway, Palmetto State, Primary Arms. I did a ton of business over the years with Primary Arms. I like their optics. Good prices on everything else, fast shipping. Midway, their shipping charges are a little up there, but they do get it to you fast. If you spend X amount, I think it's free, but I don't know. Something about Midway, while I do business with them, something in my head tells me it's like, I don't know. I don't like dealing with them that much. Yeah, I know. They all ship, so you wonder what's going to happen. I don't know. I've shipped ammo with it. Repost $30, same thing. The link he posted to UPS said no rule changes. Huh. So maybe it's something being blown out of proportion. Midway takes a while to ship. I've had, I won't say they're screaming fast, but it's not bad. Bad like rack days, the worst people panic buying. Yeah, could be. Yeah, and that's what'll happen all of a sudden, you know. Or maybe it gets put out there by certain sources that just want to slow it down for whatever reason. You know, there's always some type of motivation, you know. PSA takes forever. Palmetto State, I've had good luck with them. I wish all companies ditch UPS. They screw up too much. They do. My son used to tell me, he said, Dad, you wouldn't believe what happens to packages. He said, never, ever, ever, ever order or buy a TV from Amazon or any of the companies that ship direct to you. He said that he loaded planes at night. The packages go in what they call cans, these big cans. And then there's these rolling floors. They're like ball bearing floors. And they'd load them, they'd put them on the tug, which is a little mini train essentially, and he'd drive the tug out to the plane and then put it on the lifts up and take them up. No one takes longer. Yeah, Optics Planet, I will never do business with them ever. I did one time, I think 2 times, got something from them. Their out of stock policy is stupid. There's so many companies out there trampling on our rights. Absolutely are. You got to watch for it. And guys, you vote with your money more than you do your vote. Just remember that. Always. But Optics Planet, they will advertise and show you an item like it's in stock. And it's not till after you place the order that you find out it's on back order. And it could take forever. And then try to cancel it and get your money back. It's stupid. I just stay away from them. Your optic is good? Oh, okay, cool. Although I do my best to avoid the ones that do, yes. What was I going to... Oh, so he said, don't ever buy a TV. He said, it's almost like the workers there are trying to damage them. He said, they get literally thrown like 20 feet, like zoom, bam, on the conveyors. And he goes, I can't believe any of them even work when they get to their customers. Yeah, everybody's had that problem with Optics Planet. It's just the dumbest thing in the world. Frankly, it's not... I don't think what they're doing is ethical, and it's just bad business. It really is. And if you're really paying attention, you'll catch it. But it's so easy to hit checkout, and all of a sudden you find out, oh crap, what you thought was going to be at your door in 3 days is going to be a month or 6 weeks or whatever. And to reverse it all and everything is just a ginormous pain if you can even do it at all. But, yeah, stay away from them. Never again for me. Been years since stuff in stock took forever. Yeah, they're a total joke. Absolute joke. They are the one company that I would definitely, absolutely, 10,000% just tell you, unless they had something that you absolutely had to, just stay away. You're better off to not even get involved. Tommy's right. Take it from 2 guys that know. The only thing freaks me out about Amazon with, let's say, name brand optics is there's a lot of scammers out there. And there's a lot of fakes that are on there. You gotta be very careful. Make sure you're doing it through a prime seller. I know a big problem they had was with EOTech on there, a few others. Just be very careful. I've never been burned that way, but I've looked at an order and went, I'm not going to do that. Fake ACOGs, yeah. Yeah, EOTechs were good, even down to the little stickers they put on them for that you scan and everything. But there'd be some one thing, and you'd go, yep, fakes, you know. And that's with a lot of stuff. I ran into that with a watch on there and some other stuff too. Amazon, and let's face it, they don't have much for guns. It's just accessories and stuff like that. So not that big a deal. So you didn't get those FAL mags yet? I thought you would have had those by now. Where'd you get them again? $1,200 for a $20 imitation EOTech. Yeah, exactly. And you know what? But the thing is, most of the time, there's not that low price that would send up alarm bells. They're selling it full pop, and you think, oh, I'm getting the real deal, and you're not. That's another thing with them. So last week, I brought up, whether or not you guys liked hearing the reloading stuff at the FAL mags off Gunbroker. Okay. And a couple of you guys chimed in and said, well, we'd love to, but it's so expensive to get into, and how do we do it? What do we need, and this and that. Oh, you ordered another. See, and here I thought you were sending me a 10 box of 10 mags. Little gift for your favorite YouTuber. Oh, well. My hopes were dashed upon the rocks of reality once again. So, yeah, a bunch of you said, show us how to do a cheap rock, and we'll get into it. There's a ton of ways to get into it cheap. The number one way to get equipment cheap is, I think a lot of us look at it like reloading was a thing that the old guy up the street did, or that old guy at the range you see, this and that. Well, guess what? Those old guys are dying off. And when they do, usually nobody else in the family even knows what the hell all that's. What's all that crap Papa's got out there on his workbench, And it's like some scientific mystery stuff out there. They look at it and they go, I don't know what the hell this is. Let's get rid of it. Watch Craigslist. I can pull up and I did it this week for this video. Pull up Craigslist in whatever town you're in or nearby town and just type in reloading, and all kinds of stuff will pop up. You'll find dies, you'll find scales, you'll find usually mixed bags of stuff. They'll have, it'll just say reloading equipment, and there'll be 3 or 4 dies, powder funnels and scales, and maybe some miscellaneous brass or a press or whatever. And they'll shoot you one price for the whole match. $60 takes it or whatever. Price the stuff out so you know what to pay for. But in general, individual components are not components for the bullets, but individual pieces of equipment are not that much money. A scale, and you can get a digital scale, but I still use a beam scale for weighing my stuff. I haven't progressed to the $300 or $500 or $800 powder chargers that trickle it perfect every time with a computer and everything. I can get really, you guys have seen some of my videos. I get a max difference in speed, sometimes 10 feet per second. It's crazy with a beam scale. So, and you don't even have to worry about that high expensive equipment right off the bat. I mean, I could probably, I'd say 10, 20 bucks is a good deal for a scale. You can there's a ton of presses out there. You don't need to go get an RCBS rock chucker, although there's probably more of those out there floating around than anything. And even the oldest of old are good. They don't wear out. I mean, it's really hard to wear one out. I have my dad's that's from the late 70s, early 80s. And it's actually got less play than my the one I bought 15 years ago or so. And when I got it from my dad, he had disassembled his reloading setups. He had the pistol rifle setup at his place of business. He had an office upstairs, and he'd go up there and reload. Then he had his shotgun set up in his workshop in the basement. But he had, when they moved, he had taken everything down, just kind of boxed it up, and he wasn't into it anymore, wasn't doing it. So I got it, that rock chucker, let's say 1980 for round figures. So 40-year-old rock chucker, when I pulled it out of the storage box, the main post or ram had a light coating of sugar rust on it. It wasn't pitted or anything, but I sprayed it down with whatever oil I had handy and took some 4/0 steel wool, and boom, the thing is brand new. And I use it. It's mounted on my bench right now. Those presses back in the day were probably under $100. Now I think you pay between $400 and $500 for a rock chucker reloading kit that comes with the press, a scale. It'll come with a shell tray to hold all your cartridges while you're loading them, a funnel, a chamfering tool, a reloading book, a manual. Mine came with the, not Hornady, mine was a Nosler book. They switch it up some years. The only extra thing I had to buy really to start reloading was a tumbler to tumble the brass, a case trimmer, and a set of dies, I think. I don't think there was anything else I needed to really get going. It had everything. It came with the priming tool. I'm just trying to think what else was in there. It's not a bad way to go. Some people say, oh, don't do the kit because you'll end up replacing this or this or this. Yeah, maybe. But everything in an RCBS kit or a Hornady kit is completely serviceable. So if you want to go that route, fine. You're going to be into it. If you wait, a lot of times they got rebates. I got a ton of free bullets when I bought the stuff. They had a rebate form you sent in, and they sent you free bullets. I bet I got 800 or 1,000 bullets for buying the stuff. Plus there was a cash rebate. I think all told, maybe I paid $350 for the kit, and it came with all those free bullets afterwards and everything. Now it's probably, you won't find a deal like that. Plan on $400 to $500. There's a new one RCBS has out that is supposedly a step over to rock chucker. There's a cheap press you can buy for under $100, brand new from them, called the Partner press. Hornady makes a lot of basic presses. Lee, any of them will do. Go to a shop and they'll have them on the shelf set up. You can check them out. They'll all work just fine. So if it's a money thing, you can definitely get a press under $100 brand new, and that'll work just fine to get you going. Craigslist, though, you'll find stuff, I promise you. Any little local shopper paper, eBay, anything like that. But Craigslist has always been good for those big, a grouping of things. Garage sales, estate sales, tons of stuff. Gun shows even. There's always those guys with the tables with 82 sets of dies and different stuff. Negotiate them with them and pick it up cheap. I ended up somehow with 3 scales. I gave one to my cousin. I have the main one I use in a backup to kind of check things against. But But I told you last week I started with case preparation is the biggest thing. And probably your biggest cost when it comes to reloading components, purchasing them. So whatever you're going to do, whether you're going to start reloading or you're just thinking about starting to reload, make sure that your range trips include saving your brass and picking up other brass. If there's a pile of brass there, whether you shoot that caliber, don't shoot it, plan on reloading it, don't plan on reloading it, pick up the brass, especially when it's easy to grab. If somebody's put it all back in the boxes and tossed it in the garbage can, grab it. If it's been raked into a pile and you can just grab it and throw it in a coffee can quick, grab it. It's a pain when you're tracking down individual shells in the grass at a range or something outside. Be careful when you go to indoor ranges. A lot of indoor ranges have a policy of when it hits the ground, it's theirs. And it's not so much a money thing, I don't think, with them as it is a safety thing. People start picking up brass, and next thing you know, their head's sticking out under the bench halfway out into the range. So make sure you know the policies there. But you can go to any public range any day of the week and find there's always, I can just walk out, there's 308, there's 556, 223, 45, 9 everywhere, 40, ton of 40 all over the place, 380. It's a rarity to find 762 by 39, but lately I've been finding more and more brass. But whatever caliber it is, whether you have it or not, grab it. Why? Because you can trade it. Let's say you don't have a 40, but you managed to scrounge up 500 rounds of 40 cal, and you ran it through your tumbler. Or maybe you knocked the primer out of it with a decapping die and ran it through the tumbler. And you got a couple Ziploc bags full of 500 rounds of brand new or near new, bright, shiny 40 cal. Somebody that reloads 40 might gladly trade you, for 500 rounds of 9 or something or whatever. So you can always get rid of brass and get money for it to reloaders, no problem. You can buy used brass at most gun shows, they'll have it, and fairly cheap. I think I saw 1,000 rounds of once fired 223. I want to say he was asking, what was it? I thought it was pretty cheap. I think he was like $50 for 1,000 rounds. It was tumbled, but not sized or anything. And remember too, the more processes you do to the brass, the more you can ask for it. But then there's also that trust thing where a guy may say, well, I don't know who this was that sized it or trimmed it or whatever. But you can always, as long as you polish it up, you can get rid of it, no problem, or trade it for what you need. So if you're going to do anything tomorrow or the next time you go to the range, start picking up and saving brass, because that's free money. Now it's a sickness almost now when I go to the range. It's like, I can't stop till I pick up. I feel bad if I leave any behind, And my cousin, you guys saw in a video, I got him into reloading, and he's the same way now. It's like, oh my God, this is like a sickness. I'm like, yeah, it is. But it's nice to have all that brass, all, at least basically cleaned up, sorted, and in tins ready to go for when you need it. So it's kind of cool. So make sure you're picking that up. Equipment, I told you where to check. Craigslist for sure. All of those things. But swap meets, garage sales, you'll find it. I'll bet if you visited 5 garage sales, you'd find at least one that had reloading equipment. I'll bet. Talk to buddies that maybe started to do it. A lot of guys will get into it and then drop it, They don't find any pleasure in it. To me, it's kind of therapy. It's I can concentrate. It's quiet. It's good thinking time. You certainly get to know the cartridge you're shooting, the round, the ballistics. You get to know it much better. It'll make you a better shooter all the way around too, because you'll understand what that cartridge is doing and the accuracy of it and what you can get out of it, how you can make it more accurate, user-friendly, all of the above. It's a good thing all the way around. So at least try it. So as far as what you're going to need, I'm starting to drive again, guys, here. So until I get on the highway, I'm going to be a little spotty here. Trying to pay attention and talk to you and get back on the highway here. We've had a ton of bad storms going through. So that first hour, I was driving through ridiculous storms. Had you guys been able to see out my front window, you probably would have been like, holy shit, Chris, pull over. But whatever. It seems like it's mostly passed off to the south now. All the lightning's down there. But we've had super bad storms last couple days. And so I said, start with collecting the brass. Get that. That's free. Cost you nothing. Secondly, you're going to need a way to clean up that brass. There's a bunch of time. Every reloading company. Hold on one second, guys. All right, we should be good. Every reloading company out there, whether it's Hornady or RCBS or Lee or whatever, they all make versions of all the equipment you need. It's not like one company makes scales and the next company makes presses. And they all make a version of them. And you'll start to notice, you'll look at a Hornady scale, and I'm just throwing examples out there. I don't know if this is exact, but trucker can't decide which way he wants to go. You'll see a Hornady scale, and then you'll see an RCBS scale. And you go, God, those look identical almost, except for the color and whatever. And that's because one maker, like a company called O-House, will make scales for all the companies and just put their name on them. They brand them for Hornady and for RCBS and whatnot. So you don't, while I like having all the same brand just because I do, I don't know, you may find a deal on a red Hornady scale, but yet your powder trickler is an RCBS and your trimmer is a Lee, or whatever the case may be. So don't be afraid to buy one brand over another. Most likely they're made by the same company with a couple little changes, and you're not going to find much difference in the performance of them either. That holds true for scales. It holds true for powder tricklers, funnels, shell holders. Not the holder that holds the shell in the press, but the rack. Priming tools, all kinds of stuff. You just look at it and you know it's the same company made it. So whoever's got the sale or the cheaper price or whatever, grab it. There are a few components, or not components, I keep saying components. There are a few pieces of equipment that may be better from one brand. One thing that comes to mind, when you get into it, you'll get your first set of dies, and most have a combination decapping and sizing die. But a lot of guys choose to use a universal decapping die because they want to decap or take out the old primer before they clean them. And they don't want to run dirty shells through their sizing dies and risk scratching the dies. So they'll get a universal decapping die. And I bought the RCBS like I do everything else. I just happen to like them. But I noticed that I was bending pins a lot and stuff like that. And I tried the Lee, and Lee makes a much superior decapping die than anybody else. So that's one of the, sometimes find a better piece of equipment. Generally, looking at the piece of equipment, you can tell, feel, see the quality differences if there are any. There's a few things like that decapping thing where you got to try it. And they're all going to work. You're not going to make any major mistakes in buying equipment. Just to get started, get the best stuff you can find a deal on and afford. That's all. Cheap is not necessarily a bad thing. Presses, there's so many. I would say, and we're talking here, guys, single stage stuff. I'm not talking about progressive presses. When you get into progressive presses, it gets expensive real fast. To put together a Dillon press with a couple options, you're easily $1,000 to $1,500. So if you're starting, you want to start that way, we'll plan on spending some money. But and some guys will say, well, they're going to end up reloading progressively anyways, so why not? Why can't they start with it? While you can start with a progressive, I think you're always better off starting off with a single stage press while you're learning, because you're going to learn each step and how it works and what works and what doesn't. And you'll just get a better all-around training when you do a single stage. And you're going to be concentrating. All right, had to reconnect. We lost you there for a minute. I don't know how much you guys missed there. Couldn't have been all that much. But what I said basically was you're doing batches with the single stage press, so there's less opportunity for mistakes. You're going to be decapping and sizing, or you're going to be trimming, or you're going to be dumping powder, or pushing bullets, or whatever you're at. So your process is the process, and essentially here's how the process goes. There can be minor tweaks to it depending on how somebody likes to do something, but things have to happen in a certain order, obviously, to have to get a finished shell. So you're going to start out with cleaning your brass, and you can either dry tumble it with corn cob or walnut shells, or you can use wet tumbling. To me, it just seemed like a pain. It's a drum with a cap on it. You put your shells in there. You put your media in there, which happens to be stainless steel pins. And then you put water and whatever cleaning solution you're going to use. There's pre-made cleaning solutions. There's tons of homemade recipes. Most involve Dawn Just soap and a product called Lemmy Shine. Lemmy Shine is something you add to your dishwasher as a rinse agent, and it cleans up shells real nice. There's a ton of recipes for it. I started out with dry tumbling. It's easiest and cheap. The tumblers are cheap. Harbor Freight. Mine is the hell is mine? Not a Lee, it's a Lehman or something like that. Any tumbler will work just fine. Don't worry about brand, just get one. I do have a preference when it comes to corn cob. You can use plain untreated corn cob, or you can use some that has a little bit of a polish in it. And I like those. I like mine high polished. If you're looking to save money, don't buy your corn cob from a reloading company like RCBS or Lee or one of those. Go to the pet store and look in the animal bedding aisle, and you can find corn cob. You can find some of the different nut hulls, like I don't know if there's walnut, but there's another one. I think it's used for snake bedding maybe, but you can buy it much cheaper at a pet store or ag store. The only drawback is you're going to end up with a 50-pound bag of it that'll last you for friggin' ever. In all the years of reloading, I have used maybe 3 jugs of corn cob, which is probably 6 pounds, somewhere in there. It's lasted me 6 pounds. I've done 15 years of reloading, and I scrubbed some crappy brass, boy, let me tell you. It lasts a long time, and so you can recharge it too by adding a little polish to it and letting the media tumble with that polish and spread out, and then throw your brass in. But I use the what is it? Lehman. It's their green corn cob. It works great, and it lasts forever. There's tricks for everything. You can take a dryer sheet and toss it in the tumbler with your media, and it'll clean up your media. It'll take some of the carbon and stuff out of it. I never had great success with it, but I've tried it. It seemed to work okay. So any old tumbler will do. Harbor Freight, whatever, and some corn cob. Go to the pet store if you want it cheap. And you are cleaning cases. Personally, I recommend knocking the primers out first, because you're just going to end up doing it again. So knock the primers out, tumble them, and you'll be done. Depending how fresh your media is, 20 minutes to a couple hours, and even the roughest stuff looks like brand new. And now you're good to go with cases. We'll get into components some other time, finding powder, primers, all of that. Online has been my best source lately, just continually watching. But once you have your clean shells and they're deprimed, the next step is sizing them. If you're doing rifle or pistol, there's going to be a difference. So rifle rounds, bottleneck cartridges, you're going to have to lube those cases before you size them, or they're going to stick in the die and you're going to have tons of problems. So you're going to lube them. Any old case lube will do. I use the old-fashioned RCBS. It's like a gel, and you put it on this little styrofoam pad they sell you. That's dirt cheap. You should be able to get a bottle of that and the pad for under $10. You lube them and you run them through your sizing / decapping die, and they're sized. With pistol rounds, you don't need to lube if you buy carbide dies. They're a little bit more. Most rifle dies are going to run you somewhere around $35 new for RCBS, and there's certainly others that are cheaper. Lee are cheaper, Hornady are cheaper, I think. And if you're just starting out, it doesn't matter. Just get a set of dies. Some are a bit proprietary, like Hornady with their lock and load system, but that can be used on any press. I even use my RCBS dies on my Dillon press now, my progressive one. Once you get a set of dies, you're good to go. You're never going to get rid of them. Find them used just make sure, look inside the die and make sure they're smooth, no scratches, gouges, weird stuff. It's hard to wear out a die. But rifle dies, buy just regular rifle dies, whatever you can find the cheapest for now, because it's all about cheap we're talking about right now. On the pistols though, I would definitely spend the extra money and get carbide dies, because you don't need to lube them. They go in and out like nothing, and that's that. Again, I think our CBS are toward the top of what you're going to pay, but yeah, once they're sized, the next step I do is I check the length of the cartridge. In your reloading manual, they're going to give the overall length of the cartridge. They're going to give trim to length. They're going to give you the maximum you can allow that round to, or that cartridge to stretch. And once it gets to that, you need to trim it. Otherwise, you can throw off headspace, all kinds of stuff. So you need a trimmer. The RCBS Trim Pro works great. Comes with all the arbors you need. Doesn't need shell holders. I want to say 40 to 60 bucks new for that. And it works great. You can set it, be done. And I always trim one cartridge to the perfect size. And when I have a perfectly sized one, I keep that in the die box so I can reset my my trimmer with it easily without dicking around and trying trial and error and measuring. So take a perfect one and keep it in your box for resetting the trimmer. And you'll trim your cases. I trim my cases every time. So I'll measure them, and the ones that are at that minimum or below. Sometimes you get new shells that are below the minimum trim length. It's weird. But that's another story and another topic for specs. Specs aren't what you think they are. There's a minimum and a max, and the difference between them is huge. And everybody talks about, SAMI specs and all this. Well, SAMI specs have a massive difference between their max and minimum. So don't get all that hung up on it. But I trim every time. The reason being, when you're reloading, especially like for 5.56, if your shells are going to stretch some, but they're not all going to stretch exactly the same. And you may set up your press, set up your dies for sizing and all based on a shell of X length, and then all of a sudden you get a few that are a little longer, and you go to size them and you crunch the shoulder or something like that. It's a pain in the ass. Just trim them every damn time. That's my advice to you. On rifle rounds. Handgun rounds, rarely do I trim them. By the time they've stretched enough, they're gone anyways. But that trimmer, there's a bunch of stuff on the market. There's some you can connect to drills, which are nice. Don't worry about it. Buy the cheapest thing you can afford. They all work. Some are not as repeatable as others. The RCBS is 100% repeatable every time. Some of the ones you hook to drills, not so much. Once they're trimmed, so you've cleaned them, you've sized them, you've deprimed them, then you've trimmed. You always trim after you size, because when you size, it's going to make that shell stretch, grow. Essentially, your brass prep is done, and brass prep is the hardest part, the biggest pain in the rear, cleaning and getting them all set. Once your brass is done and ready to load, the rest is super simple. There's not much to it. And all we're talking about equipment-wise to get to that is your set of dies, your press, a tumbler, a trimmer. When you're done trimming, you got a dechamfer the case mouth too with a little hand tool. Again, you can get a power tool for that, but the hand tool is under 10 bucks. If you find a used one, $2 or something. And that's it. Your brass is ready to go, other than priming it. You can prime a couple different ways, and you may want to consider this when picking out what press you're going to buy, because some presses, most presses, single stage, will have some sort of onboard priming, meaning a little arm or something that you can use the press to pull on and drive the primer in. It's slower than having a hand primer, a little one you squeeze, but I like the feel of it. You can actually feel how that primer's seating in there. And sometimes I prime on the press, sometimes I use a hand primer. Just depends what mood I'm in, I guess. But either way works fine. So if you get on press priming, it's not going to cost you anything else to prime your shells other than priming. If you want to do the hand primer, I'll bet you find one of those for under 40 bucks new. Again, Lee makes one, RCBS makes one. The RCBS uses your shell holders that you buy with you to go with your die set to hold the shell in the priming, the hand priming unit. So one thing I didn't mention is a shell holder. Let's say you're doing 308s. You're going to need, it's a little disc that slides into the end of the ram on your press. And they're different for 308, 5.56, 9 millimeter, whatever. And they're numbered by the manufacturers. Hornady has their numbers. RCBS has theirs. Like a number 16 is 223 shell holder for RCBS. A number 10 is a 9 millimeter. A number 3 is for 308. Most shell holders will do a couple different rounds, and a number 3 for 308 will do 30-06 and on and on. So there's charts out there too to cross-reference, let's say, Hornady shell holders over to RCBS numbers. There's been several times I bought a new set of dies because I'm reloading a new caliber and I need a shell holder and they're sold out of the RCBS one. So I got to figure out, well, what number is the Hornady number for whatever, 243, let's say, or something. And you can cross over between brands again. The only thing I'll warn you is some early ones versus later versions don't have a chamfer cut to fit the hand priming tool from RCBS. But get a Lee hand primer, an RCBS hand primer, whatever, and prime away. Used, I don't know, 10 bucks, 20 bucks, whatever. Once you're primed, literally that piece of brass is now ready to all you got left is drop the bullet, drop the powder, and seat the bullet. And that doesn't cost anything equipment-wise. You're using your press and you're using the other dies that came with your set. You're going to need a good set of calipers. When I say good set, I don't know. I used Harbor Freight calipers forever. Digital ones. If you don't have a job that requires a lot of measuring and knowing how to use a caliper, just buy a digital set. It'll be easier for you. I use a digital. I also use a dial, an analog set. I like that better. They used to be 10 bucks at Harbor Freight with a coupon. They might be a little more. You will definitely, here's one of, like I talked about earlier, you will see an RCBS set of calipers or a Hornady set of calipers. And by the buttons on the caliper, you can tell it's the same Chinese company making them for Hornady, for RCBS, and Harbor Freight. They're literally the same ones. They have a different sticker and they're painted green or red or whatever. It's the same damn caliper, except RCBS will ask $48 for it, and it's $9.95 at Harbor Freight for the same one. And just getting started, it's close enough. Trust me, it's close enough, guys. Learn how to use them and learn how to be repeatable with them, and then worry about a super accurate set later. The bigger hassle will be learning how to use them properly, and putting the same pressure on them every time to get the same readings. So definitely, those are two tools you have to have: cassette calipers and a reloading manual. I would suggest for starting out, you get the Hornady manual, because Hornady bullets are more available than any other bullet. And those manuals can be specific to a type of bullet. You may buy a 223 bullet, let's say full metal jacket with a canalure, from Hornady, and one from Nosler, and there's different specs on them and different powder charges, because the bullet varies in some minute way you can't even see with your eyeballs. So I'd get a Hornady manual to start off with. I used just a Nosler for years, and if I was loading full metal jacket 55 grain, well, I used the same specs out of Nosler, even though I was using the other. It was close enough. Starting out, you're never going to load up to the max anyways. You don't want to do that. You don't want to even get close to it at first. I would start, they always recommend you start 10% lower than the max load. That's a good rule of thumb. You could even go a hair less than that. And just start loading and take them out, fire them, and have a good time. Something that I didn't use for years until I got a progressive press was a shell checker. So it checks your finished round. You drop the round in there. If it goes in and sits at a certain level, the round's perfect to SAMI specs. If it doesn't sit in there, you did something wrong, and it's probably not going to chamber. So it's a good way to check your work, and those are $8 I got on Amazon, something like that. So you can see that it's all, if you're piecemealing it together, you can get in so inexpensively. You really can. So just dive in, buy what you can, find what you can. If it takes you a week, couple months to put it all together, fine. And start experimenting. I told you last week, start with the brass. Collect some brass, get a tumbler and some corn cob, and go to town. When you got 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 shells all tumbled and cleaned and ready to go, buy the next piece of equipment, whatever. I should do a challenge where I see how cheaply I can buy all the basics to start reloading. Maybe I'll see if I can do a video on that. That'll be cool. But I don't know if there's anything specific you wanted to know or had questions or didn't understand. If you start with a reloading manual and just look in the front of the manual, and they'll go through the process, you'll get a pretty good idea of A, the sequence of things, and B, what you're going to need. Although, like the Hornady manual, they put shell trimming completely out of sync in their how to reload section. They put trimming before sizing. It's like, why would you do that? It's not the way to do it. So there's mistakes out there. I was kind of shocked at that one, actually. Anywho, what we started out talking about, the UPS and shipping company thing. Again, it's just your politicians sending out letters, sticking their nose in private companies' business, and then getting them worked up about it, And that just shouldn't be. They just keep trying and trying. Supreme Court comes out and says 100% absolutely shall not be infringed, and here's our ruling, and they just keep going. They don't care. They don't care. I don't know that the fight ever ends, guys. We just keep doing it. It's a game of resilience. Who is more resilient, and has the energy and the wherewithal to outlast? Because they're going to keep coming. We know that. That's never going to change. They'll keep trying till they're either gone or they get their way, I guess. But the good news is there's enough of us out there that keep that fight going, keep it alive, keep people informed. Everything you need to keep this Constitution going. Somebody mentioned that God, Family, and Guns channel. He's a pastor. I think I mentioned his End of Time series. I never push religion on anybody. Guess I'm as religious as the next guy. But I really found that series interesting. It's basically about Revelations, but what the cool thing is that's God, that's Jesus talking. He's laying out that prophecy there, and so it's his word. It's not another person's word. And he really lays it out in an interesting way, where he jumps way back into other parts of the Bible, and you really get a good understanding of how everything's laid out. I found it really interesting. I've been addicted to listening to that. There's 100 episodes of it, 10-minute bites, and pretty interesting. Maybe you got to be in the mood for it, but it certainly sheds a lot of light on what's going on today in our world. And what's a bit scary is they refer to the United States as basically what he referred to as Babylon, and that Babylon is going to fall. And he's going to be the one that makes it fall because of how corrupt our system is, the politicians and all. Doesn't mean you're corrupt, doesn't mean what you or I do is necessarily the bad thing, but it's almost like there's no fixing it, But I believe anything can be changed and we can fix it, and it just takes good people with the right mindset, good morals, family values, and we hold those values that as Americans we've had for a couple 100+ years now. I think those the values that made the Americans go west, where there was no rule of law at the time, we found a way, right? Even though there may have been unscrupulous people or criminals or whatever operating, good people found a way to provide for their families, to become successful, to take care of their children, and avoid and or eradicate those evil powers out there that were either trying to do them harm or steal from them or whatever the case may be. And it's that get it done, entrepreneurial, adventurous, gritty attitude that makes this country great. And those things, those qualities I just mentioned are inherent, I think, in just about any person from any country, race, creed, religion. I think for the most part, people in general are good and have a will to succeed, and we all want the same things. We want to make it a little easier for our children if we can, but yet we want them to have the same morals and work ethics and values that we've had instilled in us. And I think that's what's truly wrong today is parents or people, we got away from stressing that, about how valuable the family experience and family surrounding our children is. If you can do anything in this crazy world, it's make sure your kids have that solid background, and you're the one that's got to be responsible for it, not someone else, not a teacher, not daycare. I get it, guys. It's hard to make ends meet. God knows today it's even worse with all the inflation and everything else. But if there is any way, and there's always a way, always, if there's any way to keep whether you're going to be the caregiver or your wife or whoever, if there's any way to keep child with mom through all those formative years, figure it out. Make the changes, make the cuts, work the second job, do whatever you have to do to keep that child out of daycare and home with mom learning. Because that's when that love is instilled, that's when those lessons are instilled, that's when all that good happens and so much bad can happen the other way. They say it takes a village, but I don't know if this sounds chauvinistic, whatever, but kids need their mama, you know. That's the love line right there. We have our purpose. They need us, absolutely, 100%. There's just, they get different things from the two different parents. They need both. But mama is the important one. You need to keep her there. That's her job, taking care of those kids and making them the best she can make them. I'm not telling you to tell her stay at home, not work if she wants to work. There's time for her to work. And the kids are in school full time, all whatever the case may be. Keep them with it. I'd say I don't know many moms that wouldn't want to stay home with their kids full time if they had that opportunity and could make it work. I think they all would. I'd kind of raise an eyebrow if someone didn't want to. I don't know. I just saw it with my wife. You know, my wife was, man, good mama, let me tell you. Good mom, but, you know, pushed them in all the right ways and made them who they are. And I think they'd all agree that they are who they are today because of her. But you got to do it. It's that important. And it's your job, guys, to figure out how to get it done. It's your job to figure out how to put that money on the table, to get everything handled so she can have that opportunity to raise that next great generation. Because that's what it's about. We can talk all we want when we die off, when we're gone. Who's left to keep fighting? Daycare people ain't gonna teach them what we want to teach them. Your teachers certainly ain't gonna teach that side of it, right? I'm not saying teachers are bad, not at all. There's tons of good teachers out there. Unfortunately, we've attracted since the 60s a certain element that has other agendas, and you need to keep that out of their heads. I don't know how I got on that, but probably one of the most important things you can do. If you can do it, figure it out. I know you guys are smart. You can figure it out. So, man, it's been a couple hours. Yeah, we stopped for a long time there, but probably got an hour and a half to go. And we'll be in the Great White North. I can smell the difference. That city smell is gone. We're getting out in the middle of nowhere. So that's good. And we will get our boat fixed tomorrow. And maybe I can bring you a little fishing. We'll see. Or maybe we'll do a little range trip. I don't know. Depends what the weather looks like and all. But we'll get out there. I'm sorry I don't have the chat here to be reading it and answering your stuff tonight, guys, so you're just kind of relegated to listen to me babble. I'm sorry. I like to talk about what you guys like to talk about, but without being able to see the chat. Well, hello, Maggie, too. Oh, Maggie from God Guns channel, the girl that works at the gun shop. That's such a great channel, guys. It's not necessarily all guns. Let's face it, if it's all guns and that's all we watch and talk about, it can makes Jack a boring boy, right? That's really a cool channel. He seems like a truly kind human being. I don't know. Some people you can just tell, you know. Pretty cool. She seems very honest, very upfront too, and it's cool to see a girl working in a gun shop like that seems to know what she's talking about. So pretty cool. Check out that channel. I have nothing to do. I've never spoken with him. I never emailed him. Nothing. I just like the channel. He's got a pretty decent following, but I don't think he's anything, you know, top 10 or 20 or anything. But it's one of those good channels you should check out. That's gun-centric, but yet has other good things to it. Good things to it. One other cool place I found and some cool videos. Redbeard Tactical. Any of you guys run into them? There are a couple guys that served in the German army, and they formed a tactical company selling tactical gear. But they're the real deal. They fought in Afghanistan, a few other places. The one guy, they blur his face out, so he must be active in something where they're trying to not necessarily expose who he is or whatever. I'm trying to think what channel had him on. The kid that started the holster company, with the sidecar mag holder. He's kind of a tactical trainer. He had him on. And there was a video about basic GI infantryman setup as far as gear, what you'd carry, what works, what doesn't, stuff like that. Chest rigs versus plate carriers, BDUs versus civilian stuff, what type of socks, ponchos, tent setups, this and that. What basics that you can amass to have one setup that'll work for most situations. And they went through a lot of this, recommending some surplus stuff US, some surplus stuff Germany, some aftermarket civilian stuff, just good stuff. But I found it strange the way the video was presented. They were talking very matter-of-factly, and I thought maybe I was just picking up this weird vibe and I'm totally off base. But the way they were talking was that here's the stuff that every American needs to have, whether that's for a go bag or for natural emergencies, whatever. But they kept, in a way, referring back to, like, within a year or two, you're going to need this. Like, you are going to need this. Have to have this. It was just, I got this strange vibe that, hey, guys, here's a little tip and you better listen. It was kind of strange. If you come across that video, check it out and then let me know what you think next week. I just gotten that from a few different things lately, and just with some of what's going on, you wonder, you know, you've got our borders being invaded by thousands and thousands of fighting age men crossing the border every day and being dispersed around our country. You've got the Russia thing. You've got China, who economy may be stretched to or over the limit, and who have been preparing for God knows what for how long now. You've got so many things just boiling, simmering right now. And you probably, I'm sure people on the inside, whether it's government or non-governmental agencies or groups or businesses or politicians or whoever these groups are, that probably have some pretty good inside information that, if you were a betting man, could probably get a little better than 50% shot as to whether your bet was going to plan out or not. Just things that make you go, I can tell you this, with all that's going on in the world, I've been on this planet for enough decades that the senses are tingling. There's just so much out there going on. And the way the information's disseminated, the way things are talked about, the tones that are used, the media, politicians, experts, just the way everything's out there is different than it's ever been before. And I can't feel it. That, between economic, all these things that have happened with the pandemic and all the other stuff, that just got this feeling the other shoe's going to drop, and it's going to be a big old friggin' boot. It amazes me. And then top it all off with, we just got through having leaders, politicians tell us that we mandate that you have to have something put in your body, mandate that you have to shut down your means of making wealth, mandate wearing a mask, mandate, telling you all these things, and now wanting to take away your guns at a level we've never seen before. For the younger guys, this has been going on since I was a kid, but never at this race car speed, and never not just piled on and piled on and piled on and piled on. And it's mind-boggling how never-ending it is, and just assault after assault after assault after assault. My wife may say differently. She'll probably say, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, but in reality, I'm not. I don't consider myself that at all. I consider myself very wary, watchful. I pay attention to the little things that signal other things. And I've never felt like this. Constantly, every day. I can feel it coming. Maybe because, you're throwing the economy and the value and wealth of our citizens and our country up for grabs, or it's being shifted, that wealth transfer is happening, the devaluation or revaluation, digital currencies and technologies out there that frankly aren't good, or can be used, or it might be great things, but can be used in a really bad way. It's just all there, and it's all clawing at the door, waiting to get in, waiting for somebody to unlock that deadbolt. And when it comes, it's going to come pouring in. Just this constant feeling every day that I'm pretty sure I'm not going to like what they're going to try to do. Just keep your head on a swivel and notice the little things. You'll notice it when you hear a phrase, and then half hour later you hear the same phrase from a different source, and at dinner time you hear the same phrase. The script was sent out for that day, right? Definitely agendas, definitely, 100,000,000%. There's agendas. And if you listen to the little things, listen to what they're not talking about as much as what they are talking about, and vice versa. Everything's got a cover story, you know. I just have this ominous feeling, you know, and I don't want to be left hanging or surprised. You know, I don't know. All I can tell you is it's our job to keep them safe, right? That's what our job is. Keep the wifey and kitty safe, and teach them how to keep themselves safe. So guys, make sure you do that this week. Make sure you do something to add something to your repertoire or your stockpile that makes everyday life a little easier or better should bad stuff go down. Remember, at the end of the day, it'll be the tools you've amassed, acquired, put away that'll help you thrive instead of just survive. And sometimes it's those little comforts that would get you or your family or your wife through when you're ready to throw in the towel. So a lot of it may just be stories, you know, but the food shortages and these food plants and just on stuff, it just add it all up, guys. Think back 2 years ago, before this whole mess started. If someone told you all this info you've gathered from the media, from me, from whoever, over the last 2 years, if they had dumped all that, if they had shit that all over you 2 years ago before all this went down, what would you have said after they were done telling you about it all? You would have turned to your buddy next to you and go, this guy's fucking nuts, let's get out of here. Yeah, right? But yet it's all true, and it's happened. We lived through it, and they did it to us, and we did. You couldn't have written a fiction novel like that. But yet it all happened, and we just yeah, okay, yeah, shit, gotta be working in the morning, you know. Nobody could have told you such a story, and that. Don't forget, guys. Don't let it get out of your mind for 1 second. Because it's whatever it is. I don't have the end game yet, but it's happening. Live and in color. And it's picking up speed like a snowball rolling downhill, right? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm nuts. I don't know. Say, Chris, you need to turn off media for a week or two. I'd say it's bad. You don't hear me screaming, yelling. I hate feeling it and not knowing. That's what I hate. I like to be ready and prepared for something. So I just do what I can do the best I can. And if I've done it good enough, things will be fine. So stay safe. Get yourself ready for whatever it is. Anything's better than doing nothing. Sitting back and just stewing and thinking about it ain't going to get you too far. But make sure you're doing something to better your position a little bit. And keep everybody safe. Keep your ears open for gleaning those little glints of things that you're going to need to figure it all out. And have some fun in there too. Take the family to the range, do a little shooting. Let's see how this UPS and shipping thing goes on, what comes of this. If it is, in fact, going to go down that way, well, then it's time to put a little heat on them. But we'll see. I'm sure we'll all know in the next couple days which direction this thing's going. There's some good videos out there, too. AEDU had a good one. Make sure you check that out. 2A Scholar, a few others. Check them out. And de-stress. The stress will get you guys, so make sure you're de-stressing too. And doing something a little fun and making sure your wife and your other family members are de-stressing as well. Anyhow, that's all I got for you. We'll see if we can tune in tomorrow. Maybe I could drop one of those shorts or something. See what's going on. I brought a few toys that travel with me all the time, but maybe we'll break something out tomorrow. I don't know. Let me open the safe, see what's going on, and maybe we'll go have a little fun, get a video going too. That's all I got for you. Thanks, guys, for all your support. Thanks for listening to me babble. And I don't know. I just hope I can do you some good. That's all. I'm no smarter, no nothing. I just hope I can maybe open your eyes a little, or make you know that, hey, you're not the only one thinking what you're thinking, you know. And together we'll figure it all out. So thanks for everything, and stay safe. As always, Rockford Ordnance out. Oh, and I'll go back and read the comments, and I will comment in the comment section on the live chat if there's stuff in there that you guys needed answers or wanted to talk about. So I usually go back and check them all so I don't miss anything. Sometimes I do, but I will do that tonight as soon as I pull in the driveway and put something in my stomach. All right? And we'll see you guys soon, hopefully tomorrow or sometime before the weekend here. We'll get something out to you. Thanks again, guys. Take it easy. If I can figure out how to shut it down. It's a never-ending stream. There we go. And